In episode 9, it is now time for the final game, and Seong wants vengeance for everything that Sang-woo did. Up until this point, he had made excuses for the guy, he grew up with him, but killing Sabiak was the final straw. The final game is going to be Squid Game. And I'm not going to bore you with the details of the game because honestly, it doesn't even matter. It's a children's game, and all the VIPs are watching it. The front man has arrived. He explains the rules of the game to the VIPs who have bet on it. But shortly after the game starts, it begins to rain. The rain causes a very slippery court. And while normally this is a physical game, because of the bad blood between these two, it becomes even more physical. Seong, who is an offensive player and probably could easily win the game if he wanted to, abandons the rules to the game just to take it to Sang-woo. I mean, he really wants to make this dude pay for killing Sabiak. With the conditions being the way they are, though, both men get badly injured. But when push comes to shove, Seong is too much for Sang-woo. And Seong lets all that bottled up rage inside of him, he lets it out. He beats Sang-woo to a pulp. He could kill him. He could stab him and be done with this thing, win the prize money. But instead, he stabs the ground and he starts to walk towards the finish line. At this point, the VIPs have accepted the fact that number 456 is going to win. But then Seong does something incredible. He stops. He walks up to the worker and reminds him that Clause 3 says if the majority agree to stop the game, then they have to stop the game. The VIPs, the front man, the workers, no one can believe that this guy is this close to billions of dollars and yet he's willing to walk away from it. But he is. Because deep down, Seong isn't a killer. And he doesn't want to see Sang-woo die, even though Sang-woo did what he did. For Sang-woo, this is the only option he has to survive. If he says no, Seong walks over to the designated area and he wins the game, and Sang-woo gets shot. Because of that, it seems like a no-brainer. But Sang-woo shocks everybody by stabbing himself in the throat with a knife and telling Seong, just take care of my mother, guaranteeing that Seong would walk away with that money. Shortly after the game, Seong is patched up, he's blindfolded, and he's sitting in a limo with the front man. The front man congratulates him, but Seong doesn't feel like a winner. He's definitely going through survivor's guilt. To make him feel better, the front man reminds Seong that he bets on horses. And it's the same on the island, but the difference is they bet on humans. The big difference is Seong is a big winner, and he should be happy about it. But still, this little pep talk doesn't make him feel better. Seong demands to know who the front man is, but the front man just decides to gas him. And when they arrive back on the mainland, the limo pulls over and just dumps Seong's body onto the sidewalk. When Seong eventually wakes up, he does head to the ATM. He decides to see if the money is in his account. And he's a little surprised because it is. All the money that they promised is in there. He's a billionaire. He slowly makes his way back home, shuffling his feet through the market when Sang-woo's mother stops him. She hasn't seen him in a few days, and by the looks of him, he looks like he's been through hell. She just assumes he's been on a drinking binge, but little does she know that he's been through a war. She runs into her storefront to grab some food for Seong's mother. She also hasn't seen her in a few days and feels like she probably came down with something. Maybe some food can help. Seong goes to pay her, but the woman insists it's fine. Just give your mom any cash you got. She needs it more than I do. Right before Seong heads off, Sang-woo's mother asks him, have you heard from Sang-woo at all? But Seong doesn't answer, and she doesn't really prod for a response. She's still under the impression that her son has gone off to avoid creditors. When Seong finally does reach home, he finds that his mother has passed away in his absence. 1 year later, Seong's life has not changed for the better. Yeah, he's a billionaire, but he certainly doesn't live like it. He hasn't invested anything. He still lives in that small apartment that him and his mom were living in. In fact, he looks more homeless than anything. And that's because a year later, he's still dealing with survivor's guilt. Even the bank is concerned because he's got all this money, but he hasn't done anything with it. They actually call him in for a meeting, but he's not interested in taking any of their financial advice. In fact, he shocks the guy by saying, "Hey, can I borrow 10,000 won?" And the banker, confused, gives it to him because that bank can't afford to lose Seong's money. But Seong takes it, and he just goes down to the river and drinks alone. While he's staring off into the city, a woman walks up to him and begs him to buy some flowers from her. She needs to get rid of them that night or they're going to wilt away. And Seong hands over the 10,000 won that he borrowed for one flower. But the flower came with a card. And that card has a square, a circle, and a triangle on it. And when Seong flips to the back, the card reads, December 24th, 11:30 p.m., Sky Building, 7th floor. From your Ganbu. Seong is very confused. He heads to that building, and it turns out there is only one floor you can go to, and it is the 7th floor. And when Seong arrives, he is shocked because there is the old man sitting in a hospital bed on a ventilator. Seong demands to get some answers, but the old man points out the window to a homeless guy laying on the ground outside. He says, let's play a game. That guy's going to freeze to death if he stays out there any longer. So if that man remains out there until midnight, which is in 25 minutes, I win. But if anyone helps that old man, then you win. Seong, however, doesn't want to play a game. He wants answers. He wants to know why the old man did what he did. He wants to know who the old man is. He wants to know why he survived and nobody else did. The old man tells him if he agrees to play the game, then he'll explain himself. And Seong says, okay, fine, I'll agree. The two men then wait to see if anybody helps this old man outside. While they wait, the old man tries to explain himself. He tells Seong that he's made a living lending out money. He then asks the old man, why did you send the card? And the old man says, I heard that all the money you won is just sitting there. Is that all just because you feel guilty? That money's yours now. That cash is your reward. You have every right to use it now. Seong then asks him why he did all of this. The old man returns his question with a question. Do you know what someone with no money has in common with someone with too much? Living is no fun for either of them. If you have too much money, everything gets boring. And every time I talk to one of my clients, they felt the same way. There was no joy in their life anymore. So we all decided to get together. We concocted this idea to finally have some fun. Seong is pissed off when he hears that word, fun, because it wasn't fun for him. But the old man reminds him, you forgot that no one forced you to play. And in fact, you left and you decided to come back. You signed over your rights. You did that, not us. This was your choice. As they're sitting there, though, the clock is quickly ticking down. There are only minutes remaining until midnight, and the guy outside has not been helped yet. The old man asks Seong, tell me, do you still trust in humanity being good? But Seong ignores what he said and asks, I want to know why you joined us in the game. The old man explains that when he was a child, he had so much fun playing with his friends. He wanted to feel something one last time before he died. Because that tumor, that is real, and it has gotten bigger. He knew that he wasn't going to get that feeling if he just watched the game, so he decided to participate. He tells Seong, thanks to you, I got to remember all these things that I had forgotten. It had been such a long time since I had been able to have that much fun. As he's saying this, Seong isn't even looking at him. His eyes are fixated outside to the homeless guy that is lying on the ground. It's seconds until midnight. And that's when Seong's faith in humanity is restored, because right before the clock bell chimes, somebody comes and helps him. He proudly says to the old man, look at that, there's someone who cares. But the old man is dead. Shortly after Seong leaves, the front man comes to check on the body. After this conversation with the old man, Seong decides to do what he said. Live his life and enjoy the reward money. He's got big plans and a fresh new haircut. The first thing he does is he makes good on his promise to Sabiak. He goes and he picks up Sabiak's brother from the orphanage. He never tells Sabiak's brother what happened to his big sister, but instead he puts him in a really good home. He delivers him to Sang-woo's mother. He also has loaded up a suitcase full of money to take care of the little boy. And then he heads off. Because Sang-woo has a daughter of his own that he has to take care of. He's decided to head to America to visit her. As he hops off the train, heading to the airport, he's talking to her, saying, "I'll let you know when I get on the plane. I'm looking forward to seeing you." And then he hears a very familiar sound. It's the sound of the game he was playing that got him into this mess in the first place. And when he looks across the train platform, there's some guy getting slapped. Seung drops his stuff. He rushes over to the platform to catch the guy who is orchestrating the game, but it's too late. When he gets over there, the guy has hopped in the next train and taken off. Seung then turns to the guy who was playing and he grabs the card from him. He tells him, "You're not going." As he's sitting in the airport terminal, he's just staring at the card. And finally, right before he boards the plane, curiosity gets the best of him, so he decides to call the number. He gives his information just like he did the first time, only this time he has a message. He tells the person on the other end, "I am not a horse. I am a person. That's why I want to know who you people are." But that's when the front man jumps on the phone and says, "Player 456, don't get any absurd ideas. Just get on that plane. It's for your own good." But Seung hangs up and he doesn't get on the plane. Seung hangs up and turns around. And that is the end of Season 1 of Squid Games. Thank you so much for getting to this part of the recap. Please consider subscribing to the channel. Hit thumbs up if you like this. Smash that thumbs down button if you thought this recap sucked. If you did think it sucks, though, just hit the thumbs down button. You don't have to go to the comment section and make a nasty comment, because those, they make me feel bad, and I'm baby poop soft. Hey, I have merch. Go buy a t-shirt. Go buy a mug, Help me get over the poverty line. That'd be cool. But just know, I do appreciate you guys at least getting to this part of the recap.